I'm Doc V. And today I want to talk about staying on the mountain, or better yet, do not fall off of the mountain. What is the mountain? We've talked and we've spoken earlier about Maslow's need hierarchy, as illustrated here. Physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, self-esteem, and finally self-actualization. Well, in the Black community, there's some obstacles and circumstances that make our ascension up the mountain a little more difficult. Physiological needs. Unemployment rate is highest in the African male community. Safety. Most homicides, deaths against African American males happens within their own community. Love and belonging. The statistics on the family is alarming. I hate to say this, but 75% of African Americans, their existence is the result of an unplanned pregnancy or an out of wedlock union that caused the birth. 75%. So there are struggles there. Self-esteem. Esteem comes with accomplishments. Accomplishments come with a man's ability to bring an income, a man's ability to produce, a man's ability to take care of a family, or to be able to be looked up to as a protector and provider for a family or for that mate that you might find. And then self-actualization, there's some African American males that have self-actualized. We've got some famous athletes, we've got some famous actors, we've got some inventors, we've got some people that have prospered and they're excelling beyond belief. But that's just a very small percentage. Today, what I want to talk with you about is 5 things to help you stay on the mountain, stay on the pyramid, stay on the ascension upwards. Even if you fall from actualization down to love and belonging, or if you're at esteem and then you fall back down to physiological needs, wherever you fall, do not lose focus, do not lose hope. Stay on the mountain. 5 things that are going to help you stay on the mountain. First thing, anger control. Wise decisions when it comes to your anger. There are some of us that have been done wrong. We've been harassed by law enforcement authorities. We've been cheated by a business transaction or in a business transaction. We've been done wrong by one of your comrades. Your spouse was not faithful to you. Something that caused you to go off and be angered or to become angry. And if you respond or react to this anger in the wrong way, you could end up in jail or dead. Wise decisions. We have a judicial system. We have law enforcement. We have attorneys. We have plea bargaining. We have ways to settle disputes legally and decently without going off and messing up your life. That's number 1. Number 2, your credit. Rich people, they don't have to worry about credit. They need a house, they just pay cash for it. They need a car, they pay cash for it. They need to go to Aruba or to France, get on the plane, take the family, they just pay cash. If you do not have it like that, and most of us don't have it like that, the next best thing to have is credit. How do you establish good credit? Good credit is determined by your employment history, your employment stability, your residential stability, and your bill paying history. Have you had a loan before, and have you paid this loan or your loans on time? These, combined with a few other things, are looked at to establish or to grade your credit worthiness. And if your credit is good and you need a loan, you need to borrow money to get a car, you need to do some things, you can get it. Some people have gotten under pressure and they took loans out that they really couldn't afford, or they just got emotional and made emotional decisions and they couldn't pay it back. Or some made a good decision and maybe they got injured and they lost their job. Or maybe they went through a divorce and it caused their credit to falter. Either way it goes, that's something that you want to hold on to as you hold on to the mountain. That's two. Third thing, vices. Vices can mess a person up. What are some of the vices? Gambling, alcohol. Some people have sexual addictions. These vices have to be controlled. Some of you might need counseling. You might need the input of some friends that know you and love you that can help support you in these areas. Vices can knock you off the mountain. That's three. 4, bad relationships. A good relationship and good support and proper influence and input can help establish you. You could become the president of the company, entrepreneurial, a successful business owner, or the president of the company, or the president of the United States, if you merge with the right person. On the other hand, if you get with the wrong person, a person that you just got all excited because he was handsome and rich, or she was beautiful and fine, and you just got with them, but you didn't examine the character of the person, and you got dragged and ran all over the place, a bad relationship can cause you to fall off of the mountain. And finally, the 5th thing that can cause you to fall off the mountain is the lack of spirituality. I try not to preach too much on this forum, but when it comes to expressing my beliefs and who I trust in and who I feel it's all about, I have to talk about the Lord God Almighty and faith in Him and faith in His Word. No matter where you are on this pyramid, no matter what obstacles you run into as you ascend up the pyramid, even if you fall down a few levels and have to go back up again, no matter what it looks like, there's a God in heaven that's watching you. He has His angels guarding you and leading you and guiding you and blocking this area and opening the doors to this area. God knows what He's doing. He's God. You have to believe and have faith as you walk and navigate to the mountain and up the mountain. 5 things: anger, credit, vices, relationships, and faith in God. And you can make it. There's some obstacles and extenuating circumstances that affect the Black community. I'm aware of this. There's several instances where someone was arrested and handled to the point where they died. They had a heart condition and the police arrested them, and this Black man ended up dying. After they arrested him and brought him to the jail, he went out, they rushed him to the hospital, and he did not survive. I could go on and on and on. There's certain places you need to think about before you participate or go to certain areas. There is no formula that's going to keep you safe and protected forever, but one: God's grace and God's covering. If it is not your time to go, if there's a purpose in your life, if there's something that you are supposed to accomplish, and God has anointed you to accomplish this purpose, He will provide for you. He will make provisions for you financially. He'll put the right people in place, or the right people in front of you. He'll open doors that you didn't see opening. You might be beating on this door, trying to work a deal here, trying to get this open, and all of a sudden you get a tap on your shoulder. Come over here. Situation handled. You must keep the faith and you must stay on this mountain. Now, this is very interesting as far as the needs of people, the needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you look at this thing, it's very brilliant. It just makes sense. You're not going to self-actualize. You're not going to become the president of the company while you're trying to decide where you're going to live and what you're going to eat, or what kind of clothes you have, or how you're going to pay your electric and gas bill. If those things aren't handled, you are going to have a ridiculous time trying to ascend and become someone. So the basics, most important thing, crucial. Even the best laid plans can teeter or fall. That's just the way it is. But you have to go in with the attitude of winning. You have to go in with the attitude of having faith. You have to go in knowing that God is going to protect you and he's going to walk you through it. He's going to walk you through it. I can remember riding home with a friend years ago. We worked at a treatment facility together, a school for wayward young men, and we were coming back from work. And this brother wanted to pull into the gas station and pick up some lottery tickets. You scratch off tickets. So he ran in and he bought 5 of them. And he got in the car and he scratched them off. And they didn't win anything. So he ran back in and he got $10, $15, $20 more of these scratch-offs, scratching off, and he's in the car cussing. He's just mad. And I'm sitting there like, whoa. Then he went in and got the big tickets, the $2 for the lottery tickets. He went and got about 7 or 8 of those, like $20 worth, $18 worth. Took him home. They had the lottery numbers called a couple nights ago. I saw him at work. I said, did you win the lottery? Did you get down? Did it happen for you? He just looked up, turned around and kept going. So what did he spend? $120, $150 at that one stop trying to win the lottery. Now that's a vice that can mess you up. Some people, it's alcohol. Some people, they laying around with people. They don't even care. These things can tear you up. These things can open the door for the enemy to come in and mess you up. I've had some close calls that I'm not going to talk to you about on this particular forum. Not today, not right now, but I've had some oh boy experiences that just make me careful. Makes me careful who I get in a business deal with. It makes me careful. I've met some very nice, attractive young women, and they're carrying themselves well. They got good jobs and they seem to be, pretty good. And then all of a sudden, as I start talking with them, I get this beep, 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 beep going off in my head. And I was like, oh boy. Discernment is a powerful thing. Spiritual discernment is a powerful thing. It's unexplainable, but it is powerful. It's where you can see something that is not seen by the visible eye and it's not felt by normal detectors, but you just know, I'm getting a feel about this person. I'm getting a feel about this situation. There was times in my past where I ignored my discernment because the deal looked so good. The person was flipping houses and doing deals, and I was like, oh man, I want to be like him. Or the lady was just fine. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to work this out. And the discernment was telling me no, like I said before, no, like Matumbo said no. But I just said, let me just go on in here, and oh my God. One day I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell that story, but that's for later. Getting back as we close out. Do not fall off the mountain. Hold strong to the mountain. You might slide down a level as you climb up. You might bump down, but stay on the mountain and trust the Lord as you climb and try to ascend. Be discerning, be wise, and be consistent, and be disciplined. What is discipline? Discipline is doing something you don't really want to do, but you're doing it because it is going to bring you to a certain point or to a certain level that you need to be at. Sometimes the journey is not nice. Sometimes the journey is not smooth. While I was working on my doctorate degree, I don't think I know who won the Super Bowl during those 7 years, who the president of the United States was, what the latest shoe style was. I was just locked down, working and studying. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I probably did know who the president was, and I probably did know who won the Super Bowl at that time, but you understand what I'm saying. I was focused. I wasn't socializing. Also, I was in so deep where I had taken out so many student loans. I had taken out thousands of dollars worth of student loans to accomplish it. And some people were like, it's late in your career. Why are you spending $100,000 to get a doctorate when you're going to be paying that back over years? And I just said, something, the door opened, and I'll explain that in another setting. I'll explain that. And I just had to do it. And even some close people to me said, well, I don't know if that was a wise move. And I just kept pushing and pushing. And since then, the Lord has elevated me and he's blessed me. And one more thing has happened. I got a note from the Student Loan Servicing Center via the government. And they said, because I've worked over 10 years in the service industry and I've been paying on student loans for so many months, that I qualified for loan forgiveness. At first, I didn't believe it. And a couple at my church, they just kept on pushing, saying, you need to apply for that. You can get that. And I was like, They said, the young lady sent me the paperwork. And I saw them at church, and her husband was like, yeah, people are getting this. And I was like, yeah. So I filled it out and turned it in. They sent something back. Well, we need, you to send this to your employer so we can get the right count. And I said, I'll send it back. And then I saw her in church. I said, I don't think it's going to happen. She said, where's your faith? It's going to happen. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I trust you, Lord. I trust that you're going to give me the power to pay for this, pay it back when it's time. Lo and behold, I got a letter saying you have met the requirements for loan forgiveness. And I called the Student Loan Servicing Center, and they got back to me and they said, you've qualified. You've made all the requirements. Give us 30 days to finalize this thing. I was shocked. I contacted a couple from the church and I said, if this thing comes through, I'm getting the date and taking you, your husband, and your 2 kids, and we going out to eat. That's the least I can do. Because whatever the bill is for the meal, it's not going to be $100 and some for a student loan bill. If that gets wiped away, I'm going to show my appreciation. I'm going to get on my knees. I'm going to praise God. And the people that told me, well, you might have been making a mistake. I don't know if that was a good decision or not. I have to pray about me showing them the paid in full bill or not. I have to pray about that because I don't want to get where God can't bless me, because I don't want to get my head messed up. But anyway, getting back, God will make a way. He will open the door. Just don't fall off the mountain. Don't fall off the mountain. I'm Doc V. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you next time.